Linda, maybe you can just talk a little bit about the genesis of the film, because I know it's an adaptation of a book, right, by Frida Nilsson. But how did the project come to life?
Oh, I was actually recommended this by a colleague of mine, and then I read the book, and I just actually fell in love with the story immediately. It's a story about an adopted girl, Jonah, and I'm adopted myself, and it's always been, imaginary to think of who could be your family, and I think even if you're not adopted, you would think, is that really my father, or is it, how could you adjust to this parents and so on? And then I talked to Janne Wiert, who is the script writer for this, and he struggled with this story for a long time, and that's why it got so good, I think, because he really did a great job and finding all the filmatic threads that you could bring on into the screen and do it as a broader piece in one way. My method is to work with like one in production and one in development. So then you don't force the development. You can do it and then you read and then you let it be for a while and then you go on again.
And Stellan, what was it for you that captured you the most in the story and in this film?
Is Linda. I mean, this is my third film with her. I've only done more films with her for 3 years, Hans Petter Molen. Linda does very unique and very beautiful films. And it's also a way of working that is so great, because all the actors are in the studio and we act with each other and get a natural rhythm, and we act off each other and react to each other. And then they do the animations afterwards, which is a luxury for an actor.
And why is it the two of you decide to do animation films together for kids?
It's my way of telling stories within the animation. I like the slow process, and it's also very joyful to go into the studio with Stellan and Pernilla and Rebecca and Melinda and just to play. And then I go back into my cave again and just, struggles out with the storyboard artist and telling a story. It's my way of telling stories because I kind of like it both off and on. I counted how many people has been on this credits, and it's like 190 for this. So I have not done this by myself. We are many of us that have been doing this, so I should not take all the credit for the film.
And Stellan, how about you? Why do you like, I mean, you have probably so much possibilities to work different projects. Why an animation film for kids? I mean, I understand it's about Linda, but still, what else?
I really don't like to work too much. I mean, I've checked my diary to see how much I've been away from the kids. And since 1989, I've been filming for 4 months a year, which means 8 months a year to change diapers and cook for the kids, which is a very decent life. And then a job like this, we spend like 2-3 days, 4 days maybe in studio with some very nice people. It's just a joy. So it's very light. And it brings light.
So I know it's an adaptation. What animal would you have chosen, the two of you, if you wrote the film yourself, totally free?
I really like that Frida created this person. It's more like a person that is a little bit on the outside of the city, and one of these, the mother who's like doing like this, and she doesn't behave as a mother should do, baking cakes or whatever you have in your thinking of. So I think she's portraying just a person that is a little bit left alone and also an outsider, but still has some friends. And I think just a gorilla or a squirrel or a mouse, it doesn't really matter.
It's a story about non-conformism as well. Of course, the society always reacts negative on that, but it's a nice defense for that. And I grew up with a father that was really not conformist, and back then it was a much more conservative society in Sweden, so it was quite interesting. It was like growing up with a monkey.
Why do you think film and also film festivals are something that kids should have access to?
If you see on the cinema screen where you live, they only take the most maybe obvious films that they think the broad audience will see. I think it's really important for the kids to be able, and also joyful to able to see, and when they grow older, to see other films, foreign films. Yes.
There's no way they will ever otherwise be able to get in contact with a lot of films. that are out there.